Hi all. Joe Roby Chess is getting me interested in this pincer movement strategy, and I think a lot of the hypermodern openings, like the English opening with c4, later do sometimes feature the fianchetto of both bishops. And I've argued, I've put some comments, not argued, Joe is such a nice guy, I've put some comments about this, that, sometimes it's good to mix, some central control, with c4 with the double fianchetto. I looked up also the pincer movement. It's also called double envelopment. It's a basic element of military strategy which has been used, this is a wiki reference, to some extent in nearly every war. The manoeuvre is mostly self-explanatory. The flanks of the opponent are attacked simultaneously in a pinching movement. So it's like a motion after the opponent has advanced towards the centre of an army, which is responding by moving its outside forces to the enemy flanks in order to surround it. At the same time, a second layer of pincer attacks on the more extreme flanks so as to prevent any attempts to reinforce the target unit. Okay, that's probably made it muddier. And talking of mud and things that whirl around in mud are hippos, actually. And the hippo defence is like a reverse pincer. And there was a classic hippo in a relatively high-level British tournament last year with Simon Williams playing black. And I thought I might as well show you it. Maybe Joe Roby's interested in this. This is a kind of reverse. Note that, Simon Williams didn't commit his king to one side of the board very quickly. He waited for the opponent's castle. So maybe that's a key consideration. Because he's concerned about getting hacked up, with the white player getting hacked up. But if we learn from this reverse hippo game, so Simon Williams, he fianchettos his king's bishop first, and he puts one pawn in the centre, so a little bit in the centre, but it's the flank attack on both sides, which is happening now. So a6, so that's not an immediate fianchetto, but a6 might carry with it later b5 and b4. See, if these knights are driven later, then there's less control over these central squares. If like b5, b4, or later g5, g4, I don't know, that's not very possible. But these ones will be targeted with the pincer attack. So bishop e3, knight d7. So the knight's committing to the centre. So seemingly passive, more passive than say here. So this is more passive than there. And this square is more passive than there. Now this could be a concern if white was going to castle queenside and later bishop h6 and then like h4, h5. So that's probably not how to play the hippo. So e6, bishop d3. So white's actually not castling queenside, and black's still delaying. So he's played a series of waiting moves, waiting for white's castle. White castles. So a breath is taken that white's not going to try and hack Simon up here. So he plays b6, still very casually developing now his queen's bishop. So we're getting the formation of the hippo. And on the recent TV programme about improving your chess, Harriet Hunt, I think WM Harriet Hunt, was going on about the hippo. It's not just the nature of it, it's sort of the personality of the hippo is to sort of wail around and emerge, at the most appropriate time. So knight g3, so is black sort of wailing around like a hippo? Well, that's something to sort of speculate here. Knight e7. So both these knights, as J. Roby has recommended with the system as white, they're in the centre. But the key thing is black is not routinely casting kingside. Indeed, if he does, then bishop h6. So after h3, in fact, he plays f5. He commits, and so this is setting the attack on the centre really, the e4 square. And white responds by playing c4. And black further intensifies the pressure now on the e4 square. So the hippopotamus, is emerging from the mud and is taking an interest in something concrete now, this e4. So d5, so white's trying to smash open a few lines. And black just casually just takes on e4 now and takes on d5, allowing white knight takes f6. Bishop takes f6, and look, h6 is on. C takes d5, and now with the king side, well, it's not really possible to castle. Bishop g7 will be losing a lot more time. Black actually decided to play queen d7, so he actually wants to commit the king to this side of the board and use h6, maybe to get at white's king potentially. So bishop e4 was actually played, now castling queenside. And white decided to take that pawn. And black played a nice little tactic here, because the queen sort of overloaded defending b2 and h6. And although black's king is on the queen side, and often this would be a decisive crush, sometimes using the pressure, the king's quite solid in this particular position. Well, it's apparently solid enough by the evidence of this game to withstand this b-file pressure. So knight f5, knight d4. So black took on d4, played bishop c5, queen d3. So what has the hippo gained? Well, it's definitely probably got white out of opening theory, and there's still this pressure on the centre. The bishops are still targeting, central squares. After bishop takes c5, d takes c, d5 is particularly weak now, and queen d6 offers the exchange of queens, which is not accepted. Just grabbing this pawn instead. But now white's centre just collapses completely. So the centre's been blown to bits. Totally open centre. No white pawns anymore here. It's just black forces. Okay, so maybe the hippo's done its job with only one of these bishops left, and this sort of ending. So bishop takes a2. It seems a bit odd here. Maybe white was in time pressure, or he seems to have underestimated the power of these queenside pawns, as we'll see. So bishop d5, f5. I mean, he's rushing to get his f pawn to be dangerous, but black's queenside is just expanding and expanding now, and black is prepared to sacrifice, if necessary, a whole bishop to speed things up. And in fact, after b3, rook takes d5, rook d5. It seems as though black's given himself a nasty pin, bishop e4, but he just carries on just moving his pawns. He doesn't mind losing a rook, because b2, and there's going to be a queen on the way. So bishop takes c4, b2, and here white resigned. So a very interesting game, kind of reverse pincer, but black, I just want to say to Joe, black was careful not to routinely castle on the king side here. Maybe that's something to learn from it. And striking out the centre with f5 was also interesting. But there's also this personality thing about the hippo. It's not just name the hippo, maybe just for the formation. It's the personality of emerging, when it's advantageous to. So that's a kind of, I don't know if we can combine that with the pincer strategy, that there's this animalistic strategy as well, this personality to emerge when appropriate and most effective. So maybe we can learn something from animals as well for chess and for our chess warfare. The centre collapsed, and it was actually black's queenside pawns here which played a highly decisive role in the end. I hope you enjoyed that one. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.